Iowa law enforcement officers might be under more scrutiny now than ever. Some are quitting their jobs or not applying in the first place. Two Iowa law enforcement leaders will join us to explain what they're doing about these challenges and how policing they think will improve. Plus, the founder of the Iowa Starting Line shares his new mission to fight misinformation. And in the Insider's Quick Six, how many candidates you can expect in two high-profile races in our state next year.
From your local election headquarters, this is the Insiders with Dave Price.
For many police and sheriff departments across our state, you'll find these two words, now hiring. When a Minneapolis police officer killed George Floyd last year during a theft investigation, he made the situation worse for law enforcement. Communities demanded change, accountability, and improved relations between people of color and officers who are often white. Those demands continue. Some officers say that it's gone too far in some cases and that they've never felt so hated. Some have left the industry. Potential applicants are refusing to join the industry. Now, we couldn't find one statewide source that lists all of the open law enforcement jobs right now, but we know Fairfield, Atlantic, Ankeny, Creston, Fort Dodge, Muscatine, Perry, and Waverly are all among the communities that need more personnel. City Administrator Denise Arnold in Leon said communities like hers of 1,900 people need help in finding and affording officers. She emailed, "It would be beneficial to small agencies if the federal and state government could make funding available for an officer position that made it feasible for the agency." Marshalltown's population of 27,000 offers a bigger budget, but Police Chief Michael Tupper told me that despite a $7,500 signing bonus for certified applicants, plus another $1,000 for a city employee who would recommend a successful candidate, he is still only seeing mixed results in the efforts to find officers. Now, two law enforcement officers with more than a half-century of experience shared their struggles of hiring, the environment, and the future.
We're an 11-man department. And yes, when we're at full staff, we have 11 people. So I have one currently deployed, so she won't be back until sometime late summer. I have one person that we hired recently who's at the academy. So after 16 weeks of training at the academy and then the 14 weeks through our field training program, then that person can go on the street. But in the meantime, he's unavailable to us as one of the other officers. I have 3 openings to fill as we speak. So when I have an 11-man department and 5 positions that are open in the schedule, it makes it pretty tough. So the staff I do have to work longer hours. They have to work more days. And, you know, everyone understands this is what we have to do. We have to fill all the shifts. We got to respond to calls for service. It takes its toll. You know, people like to stay at home. People like to be with their families. You know, there's a cost you have to pay, and my fear is that they're going to get burnt out and look somewhere else to maybe get out of the field because they want to have a normal type life. And even in the best situations, police officers don't have that normal type life.
27 years ago when I applied at Indianola and other metro agencies, you would show up and there'd be 150 people there, all fighting for most likely just one job. Now it's, I think our last round of hiring, we were hiring for 4 officers, and I think we had just about 40 applicants. Numbers are way down.
So what's causing that?
Boy, you know, if I could wave a magic wand and let you know, I would, but I think there's a lot of things. The culture of society right now is one of those things. I remember, you know, after 9/11, the outpouring from all communities. I'm just not talking about Indianola. I bet I gained 10 pounds in the month after that for the appreciation of the people bringing us food and offering us things like that. In Indianola is still that way, don't get me wrong. This is a very, very supportive community, council, mayor, city manager. But you watch the news and you see some of these other communities where it's, you know, defund the police and the constant riots and clashing with the police. And I think people look at that and say, don't really want to be part of that.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about defunding. Well, I don't think that's ever going to happen because you're always going to need police services. But is there a better way to provide services? I don't know, but I'm certainly willing to take a look at that, come up with some ideas and some things that might work. I don't have any issues with that, and I think most executives would probably agree with that.
We were a little bit ahead of the game on the policy reviews for things like neck holds and other things like that. I mean, it's not allowed. Now, 25 years ago, did that happen? Yeah, I'm sure it did happen. Not here. You have to treat people how you want to be treated. That's the bottom line. So if that means taking a little bit of extra time and talking to them, finding out what the real problem is, I mean, yes, we are expected to do that.
One of the things we did shortly after the incident with George Floyd is I had all my officers get together, and we were in this room, and I'm Mexican American. That's my background. And at the time, we had one black male working with us. And so we each gave a story about how we were affected by discrimination. And I think it really hit home with our staff that have never considered that, had never thought about that. And when it relates to someone that you know and you didn't know they went through that, it hits home. And so the lesson after all that was be conscientious of the people that you're working with. You don't know what their background is or what's taken place, but they're individuals that are in need. That's why they call us. And so just be aware of that and do the best that you can when you're providing those services.
Are you willing to share what you experienced?
No, not at this time.
And was it when you were young? Or
Yes, it was when I was young. A couple of the chiefs of police that I know really well, I've talked to them about discrimination and stereotyping and that sort of thing. And one of the things I tell them is that when you apply for a position and you really want this job and you don't get it, okay, he was a better candidate, more qualified, more education, whatever. But what you don't have to ask is it because I'm Mexican or I'm black? Okay, you don't have to ask that question. And that question, you're gonna get asked that question, you're gonna ask that to yourself. Either way, did I get the job because of my background, or did I lose the job because of my background? You're never gonna know that, and he never has to ask himself that question.
Both these leaders believe that community policing, body cameras, and commitment to listening will improve both their agencies and their relationships with the public. Up next, why one former Iowa campaign staffer is turning his attention to doing something about so much misinformation out there these days.